Hey folks, Steve here with another 1918 Storm in the West redo video. Last video we got through turns 1 and 2. We're going to try to get through 3 and 4 here, and I did already, just to save on time, I did Weather Determination, the German replacement phase, strategic movement, and regular movement. So we're already into being able to look at the combat phase, and just to kind of show kind of where things are at. Obviously down here not much has gone on. We do have a little bit of a French breakthrough there, but it's not too bad. They are forced back to their secondary line. The French can continue to kind of make headway there if they'd like, though there's not many places for them to go. So I think the pressure here is on the Germans to really try to get something happening where, you know, they can push all the way through up here and make it happen. And you can kind of see where the front line kind of is now. So we have this bulge up in the German second trench line. The Zocs kind of keep the French contained here for the moment. There's some of this here, and then there's a hard, jagged turn left where we're beyond the Allied trench line. And so we're just sort of holding, trying to progress past, but the British units are kind of holding in a Zoc formation here. But our main push is out to here now, and we're going to try to probably smash through some of these Belgians, get the Australians back encircled and put out a supply while we continue to push forward through here. Now, a couple of critical things about kind of where the game is at. The Germans are pretty low on replacement points. So is the British, really. But the British are going to have several turns here where they get a nice little lump sum of replacement points. So the Germans have kind of spent out most of their replacement points. They're still going to get some over the next several turns. So they are really going to be looking at doing as best as they can to kind of clear, finish up here before it gets too late. Now, they do have enough morale points to basically survive the turn check. They'll probably get a few more morale points before all is said and done here. But getting, the Allied morale down all the way to 0 is going to require us getting all the way up into this area and really putting the hurt on the Allies. So it's going to be a pretty near-run thing, as best as we can tell. As best as I can tell, anyway. I mean, we've still got a lot of momentum that we're working with. We're working our way through the areas. The other thing is, I put the American units up here. I had strat moved them up last turn as the Allies. One thing I've got to watch out for is that if the Germans manage to get to the coast or project their Zocs, over here enough, all the British units south of that point will be out of supply and relying on Allied supply, which is, it just causes them to be weaker. And then the Americans up here will likewise be, working on Allied supply and thus weaker. And so I'm sort of gambling a chance here, and there's this whole question of, well, I could also pull French units off the line. By now, I could conceivably try to do that. But what would that, what could we save by doing that? Well, we could try to put French units up through here, with the same problem. If they get cut off up here, then they're going to be weaker. So I think that's an option the Allies have to look at, of pulling units off the line, but that's going to hurt their ability to counterattack in other places as the game wears on. So it's like, if I overcommit the French units up here, that's also maybe not a great idea for a variety of reasons. So it's just going to be, how much can we pull away? The French have 9 replacement points still, and they'll continue to get bits and pieces throughout the game. So they're actually doing okay. The French are not getting the worst of it. The British are. But it's just going to come down to how quickly can the Allies take control of the situation. Somebody had pointed out in the comments that the defender retreats ability to take a loss off is really powerful, and it is. It definitely is. I don't think it breaks the game, because you can only, by retreating you get rid of one loss. You still have to take other losses, and you mitigate that by doing concentric attacks where if you're fortunate enough to not allow them a clear retreat space, they're going to take additional losses anyway. So it's sort of, I think it's okay, and it's going to come back to help the Germans as well. So assuming they can retain their lead through the next several turns, and the game sort of reverses course, the Germans are going to have the same ability to retreat and sort of consolidate and maintain their forces. So I don't think it'll be as bad as we think it could be, but we'll see. So we're going to get through the German attack phase, the first combat phase. Then we'll do our infiltration movement in second combat. No German units are out of supply, so far we're actually in okay shape there. And we'll see what happens. All right, we're going to try here. It's going to be 3-1 plus 1, I believe. Yeah, 3-1 plus 1. Can't find any other bonuses that would help here, but we'll see. So we got a 6. So this unit is eliminated because it takes 3 step losses, so even a retreat won't help it, and we take 2 ourselves. So first loss, and then we'll advance after combat. So now you can see we're starting to crack open even some of the other British line areas. If I look over here now, let's see, this would be 12 and 11, 23 to 4, not quite 6 to 1 odds, but yeah, so it's 5 to 1 odds with a +1, another 6. So he's also eliminated, and we take 2 step losses, so maybe what I'll do is take a step loss here off a Stoss marker, and then this guy, and we'll advance after combat like so. It's quite good. Very good stuff here. Yeah, those were good rolls. Now up here is going to be the tougher thing. I kind of have to decide, do I want to try to take these guys out outright? Or, yeah, see, I don't think I want to do that. I think I just want to focus on taking this unit out. So we would have 5, 11, 17, 28, 39 to 4. $39 plus 15. Yeah, that's a whole lot. It's gonna be 7 to 1 with various bonuses. And yeah, this guy's toast. Belgian unit is toast. Probably see some actual Belgian units be replaced now. We'll take a step loss off this guy, and then we will move these guys up. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's a fantastic situation to be in. And then over here, I don't think I want to try it. Be 17, 23 to 8. Now it'd be only 3 to 1 odds. 3 to 1 odds plus 1. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure we want to do that. So I think we're good. That's the first combat phase. You can see, I mean, we've done very well. I think we're putting the hurt on the Allies to a great degree. Now we're going to do infiltration movement. So I think we do one like that down, so that we have Amiens in scope. We do one here to expand out. I think we do one here. We do one here, like that. See, that guy's fully stacked up, so there's not much to do there. Not much to do there. I think we try. Oops. We just move this guy over one. So there's really no way for him to get out, and he's zoc locked for sure. Now this artillery group is out of range of anybody, so it's only worthwhile if we were going to try to attack these guys, but there's really no point in doing that. So then we'll let them wither on the vine inside Eep at this point, and then do we want to do anything with our second combat phase? Well, I don't know. I'm going to have to think through this. So, yeah, I'm going to think about it, and we'll come back. What I don't want to do is like attack up here, reduce this wall, and then have them like break through again to save those guys. I mean, I want to avoid that, but I feel like we might still have enough momentum to push out that way some, because we're getting close to those channel ports, awfully close, and the weather is actually has been pretty favorable. We haven't gotten the mud weather and these marsh, floodplain that turn into marsh areas this time around. So that's helped the Germans a lot, I think. Real challenge will be, how long can these guys hold on? But now the narrow corridor for doing strat moves up here is through these two hexes, and next German move, they're gonna come up and shut that down, basically. So the Allies are kind of forced into a position where they're going to have to try to get in the way of that, but I'm not sure they're capable of doing it. I don't think they have units nearby that can actually do it. Strat moving will only get them to Abbeville, but that's not even needed to shut down what we want to shut down. So, okay, I'm going to think through these last attacks for the second combat phase, and I'll be back. Okay, so with the second combat phase with the Germans, I think we're going to try here. It ends up being 5-1+1, and would help put these guys out of supply. And I think that would be the valuable thing to try. So that would be a 5. So yeah, this guy's eliminated. It's another British unit eliminated. We take 2 step losses. Do this. Advance after combat. Oh, actually... There we go. Yeah, I think that'll work. That'll work great. Little nervous about some of that, but it'll work. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, I did calculate my die roll correctly. There is a town that I just took in here, which is Hasbrook. So we just managed to get the result that we got. So German morale goes up by 1, Allied morale goes down by 1. So that's pretty good. And then we will have put these guys out of supply. So terminal supply check, we're in good shape there. We'll roll our dice for Big Bertha. And we didn't hit anything important in Paris. So we're going to go over to the Allied side. What I'm going to do for the Allies, I'm going to do all their initial supply stuff. Well, I guess I can do their initial supply stuff really easy right now and say that right now these guys are out of supply and these guys are out of supply for sure. And then they're going to have to do replacement and reinforcements. So I will take care of that, strategic movement and regular movement off camera. And when we come back, I'll talk about what they tried to do and what combats they might try. Okay, so here's what the Allies could do. They're sort of leveraging, the French are leveraging the gap to get a concentric attack on this hex, which might provide the French their first really great opportunity to bash the Germans in. And really what they're hoping is if they can get through here, I mean, even if there's not a lot of stuff, they can just start heading around and making use of their replacements that they have, which is still quite a bit, to just roll up the German flanks and just sort of, create a perilous position while the British are doing what they can to stay alive. We did get, whoops, I can't move these guys. I forgot, okay. Basically, we railed the French tanks over here because I could make gains over here. I need to do something to stop the German advance if we're going to eventually win the game as the Allies. So they've been rerouted from here up to here. Americans are coming in and holding the river, right? So basically, we're going to hold the river line, hold Amiens, hold Abbeville. Abbeville, however that the French pronounce that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you're French or you know French towns. I don't. I'm sorry. So sorry. So they want to try to hold this so that they at least have an attack point to get over. The only problem is the tanks can't attack over a major river, but we'll get them moved across the line. Everything else is like I can't do much. The Germans have put the British in a very tenuous position, so I'm trying to screen the path to the Channel ports with Zox as best I can. I'm going to try to restore supply to those guys right there. I'm going to leverage the British tanks to try to cut a path through as best I can. Maybe even try to do a coordinated attack on those guys right there. That might be an option as well, just to blunt the German advance. That's kind of the important thing. It's like if we can just stop them from getting any further. I was trying to figure out, can I save these guys? And that's going to be the real question. Like, where do we attack? So we could go here and have it be 6. Oh, you know what? I'm almost violating. No, I'm okay. I'm almost violating stacking with the Americans, but I think I'm all right. It would be 6, 13, plus 8, so 21. 21 to 12 is not even 2 to 1, so it'd be 1-1 odds, plus 1. I don't think that gets us to where we want to be. But if we did a big attack here, it'd be 3, 6, 11, 18, 24 to 11. That would be 2 to 1 odds plus 2. So that's actually maybe worth it. But that's going to be our only real major attack if we do that. And that's kind of a tough thing. But we stopped the Channel ports from being, or we put enough hurt on the Germans that, yeah, I think that's what we do. 2 to 1 odds plus 2 is the best thing here to try. Let's see, I rolled a frickin' 1. Which becomes a 3, which I guess could be worse, but okay, so we take 2 step losses. Here goes the British tanks. And then we have to lose something else. We'll lose it off the French cavalry, because they don't really matter. And the Germans have to lose 1 step, which they'll do. They got a plus 2 from the tanks in a concentric attack, but that didn't do enough. That did not do enough. They don't. Okay, so the British don't have infiltration movement, so just the second combat phase. We could try again here, but it would be 3, 6, 10, 16 to 10. So 1-1 odds with a plus 1. We'd have a chance to eliminate those units. but I also have a chance of really thinning the line. We could take losses off the Americans. We could take losses off the French. So, yeah, I think it's worth it. I mean, this is 1-1 odds +1. That's not great, but we need to try something. And I rolled a frickin' 1 again. Oh, my God. Oh, okay. All right. So I rolled a 1, +1 is 2. On the 1-1 is 2 step losses. So we'll go ahead and get rid of the French cavalry. Not a big deal. And then we'll take a step loss on... no, maybe not the Americans. If we take a step loss off these out of supply guys, it's not as big a deal, maybe. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so that's it for the Allies. Terminal. We're going to eliminate Allied units marked out of supply. So the Australians are gone, and these guys are gone, and the Australians don't come back. So out of all the special units of the Allies, like the special minor allies, the Canadians, the Australians, and the Portuguese, they're all gone out of the game already. And that, I think, just comes down to bad tactical positioning where the Germans were able to get around them. I guess, intentionally did that where I could. And now Ypres. Technically, the Germans haven't taken Ypres yet, but they're going to. And so I'm just going to mark it now. German morale up to 21, Allied morale down to 9. And we're sort of now in the zone where if we're able to take the 3-channel ports, that's it. That's going to be game. So it's going to come down to the wire here for that. And that's it for turn 3. So we're going to go into turn 4 next with the German turn. Let me see if this is a weather turn or not. Okay, we do have to roll for weather. It is not wet, so we've had a very nice season. That one was only if I rolled a 6, and I rolled a 2, so we're good for weather. And then the initial German supply phase. And these British are back in supply, so they're fine. Whoops, there we go. They're drawing supply through this hex, so they're fine. Okay, so we're going to go to the German replacement phase. They're going to get, let's see, this is turn 4, so they're going to get 3 steps up. So they have 4 replacement points, which is not a lot, and we'll figure out what we want to do with those things in just a minute. So I'm going to have to be really choosy where I decide to put these reinforcements now. Oh no, I forgot there was going to be an attack down here as the French. I totally forgot. We will run it here. So 8 and 8, 16, a 6, 2-to-1 odds with a -1 because they have a +1 for concentric attack, but -2 for the German hex. So yeah, 2-to-1 -1, and they rolled a 6. So it's a 5. So a 2 and 2. So they'll take a step loss, and they're going to end up retreating through Zox. So this German unit is eliminated. Take a step loss. We'll take a step loss, and we'll advance after combat. So there you go. The French are kind of breaking through the German line there, but it's chaos. Chaos, a storm in the west. Okay, so now I need to think about what the Germans are going to do with their replacement points, and then I'll do strategic movement and regular movement, and we'll line things up for the next combat. Okay, so here we are. I had to be very choosy with the replacements, and really, I mean, it was, basically pumping up the guys up around here as best I could. And then in terms of the movement, I actually could sneak, I snuck one of my Stoss troops up through here, and we are in effect cutting these guys down here. We'll be basically using Allied supply. I don't really have a good marker for that, but we'll know that. And in addition, the Americans are also going to be suffering that it's interesting. I'm going to have to be really careful with these next so many attacks, but what I want to do is knock this guy out, seal this, and then, I mean, there's only going to be so much that can be done. Britain's going to be able to get a couple units maybe in these hexes, but they're going to have a whole lot of problems here soon. I mean, it's just not much that can be done. And additionally, the Americans are not going to be able to get into these ports up here because we are now shutting sort of the door behind them where, well, actually, I guess I could have done this and makes this a concentric attack and still does it just as good. Yeah, maybe that's what we do. Yeah, because they can't, because of the Zocs and everything, they can't get through. Yeah, this is good stuff for the Germans right now. But it's going to be near run thing, so we're probably going to see an attack here, probably here and or over here somewhere is my expectation. So we'll look to do that. This is just the first combat phase, so yeah. If we do here, what it will be is 12, 18, 23 to 5, that's 4 to 1. By the way, with these air markers, because the air is equal, I just end up, it's like they use them, and it's +1, -1. So until the other air units come on the board, the British air is just doing enough to negate the German air whenever it matters. I've sort of simplified that for solo play myself, but there you go. So it'd be 4 to 1 with a +2. And let's see, 4 to 1 +2. That is a 2 and 2. Okay, so he's eliminated no matter what, and we have to take 2 step losses. So I will take one here, and I'll take one here, I guess, and we'll advance after combat. So that's looking pretty keen. Nice and orderly there. Then we would have this attack. So that's 7. We would be attacking with 12, 18, 23 to 7. It'd be 3 to 1 odds +2. So that ends up being a 5. We'll take 1 step loss, and then we'll retreat 1 and take a step loss. And take a step loss, and we'll advance after combat up. And then we would target here, I guess. So that's 7. We would attack with 17, 35, 50 to 7. So that's 7 to 1 odds +1. Is a 6. Perfect. Okay, so do 1, 2, remove the American unit, and then we'll take another step loss by retreating. The Germans take 1 step loss, advance after combat. That turned out really well, and then we don't do any other attacks. But that's pretty great. Yeah, I mean, that's really good, I think. I mean, it's going to be really hard for the Allies to do much there, and so we have infiltration movement, which see if I can figure out a good way to make this work. Yeah, this is looking really bad. Really bad for the Allies. Holy cow. Which is great for the Central Powers, obviously. Now, the only troubling thing is, we're taking a lot of step losses, but I mean, we have almost. The British are going to get some replacement points too, I guess, but it's just, is it going to be enough to make a difference on what we have here? And I'm not sure that it will. I mean, we're going to take the Channel ports, and that might be it. Oh man, interesting. Okay, so we're going to do the second combat phase. So do we try to attack here? They have 8. We would have 11 plus 12, 23 to 8. That wouldn't be very good. I think maybe what we try is attack here. We would have 11, 22, 28 to 3. 28 to 3 is a lot. Maybe what, 9 to 1 odds plus 1, so plus 3. So he's annihilated. Take 2 step losses. Maybe lose 1 here. So we lose a German unit, but now we're causing all kinds of grief. And then over here, we could try B10, 21, 36, 36 to 8, 36 to 8, maybe 4 to 1 plus 1, but minus 1 because of the marsh. We could try it. Not sure how well it'll work. 4 to 1, got a 5, so 3 step losses. We do 1, 2, 3. Take 3 step losses. 1, 2, 3, and advance after combat. Advance after combat. Oof. Yeah, that's pretty rockin'. I like that a lot. I mean, this is going very, very well for the Germans. Now, the problem is, will it be enough to survive another turn? In fact, we've even removed most of the American units on the board, which is really important. We're going to roll our dice for Big Bertha. And I don't hit anything of importance. And we're going to kick it over to the Allies now. Whew. Whoa, we whoa. Allied supply segment is going to have these guys being out of supply for the moment. And then we'll do replacement, reinforcement, strategic movement, regular movement. We'll come back and see what the Allies can do. Alright, so the Allies are trying, you're going to see the French tanks trying to penetrate through this gap and maybe cause some problems for the Germans, but they can't get there quite yet. You do see the French taking advantage of the breakthrough. Their goal is to eliminate this unit and then swing these guys, pull these guys up and around and then send these guys folding up over to collapse the German line in the center. Might not happen fast enough, but that's really the only shot they've got. And up here, I mean, it's at the point now where the Belgians are having to fall back a little bit. The British are just barely holding on, and it's really going to matter, how do we get through the final line? So their only real attack that's going to be worthwhile. Is going to be here, I guess. They would have 7, 11, 14 to 11 be 1 to 1 odds with a +1 due to concentric attack. So we'll try it. Alright, so we got 6, we do 2 step losses. We have to take, we have to take 1, which we'll do just off this out of supply unit here. And they do 2 here. So we will remove that German unit. I don't think any other attacks are going to make sense to do. We could have the Germans try to retreat and get something back. Maybe that's what they should do instead. Let the British have the hex. So the British managed to take that back. I don't think there's any other attacks up there that can be done. But over here you have basically 4 is 12, 24 to 6 is 4 to 1 odds, +1 -2, so it's a -1, 4 to 1 odds -1. So we only got a 2, so that's 3 and 1. Do 1, 2, 3. Okay, second Allied combat, we'll just get right into it. They're going to try again. That's 4, 7, 11, 17, 21 to 5. That's 4 to 1. -1. 4 to 1, that's 4, so he is eliminated. The French take 2 step losses. 1, and we'll say 2 here. And they'll advance after combat. Okay, the French have a decent breakthrough that they can make use of, but up here it's much harder to figure out what can be done. They can do more counterattacks. They could try. Yeah, that would probably not be a good option, because up here it would just be 2 to 1, or 1 to 1 rather, with a -1. That's probably not a good idea. Here you'd have 8, 11, be another 1 to 1. Have 3, 13, maybe 1 to 1 -1. I mean, everywhere that the British can attack would be 1 to 1 -1. The only thing they can do is try to hurt the Germans enough that something can happen here. So maybe they try here. 1 to 1 -1. It's probably very bad. Yep, that's 3 step losses. That's not good. I think we just accidentally flipped that guy there. All right, well that's really bad. There goes the Allied turn. Because the Allied turn, guys. Not good, I'll say. Not good at all. And I think that brings us to the end of turn 4. And the end of turn 4 is not looking good for the Allies. I mean, they've got a breakthrough down here. That's useful. But the center's not getting them much. And we're going to see the collapse of the Allied position up here. I mean, the British are going to basically be almost out of the game. Really, I mean, that's kind of what we're looking at here. And there's all these guys down here are weakened, or they're going to, they basically are weakened. These guys are back in supply for whatever it's worth, but the situation is not a good one. So I think, yeah, next video, which will be turns 5 and 6, are going to be some critical activities, because the Germans are still not getting a huge number of replacement points. They're going to get some. They're going to need to bash in the Allies. The French are just proving not very useful. They're not doing enough. Even if they're cracking through the line down here, I mean, it might not even matter just because the British are going to be totally hosed. And I'm not sure what happens if we take all the channel ports for the British. Like, can they come in anywhere, or are they just totally out of the game? And if that's the case, I mean, the French are going to have a whole string of problems to deal with. They won't be able to win, I don't think. They won't be able to... On their own, the French won't be enough to stop the Germans, I don't think. I have to look at some of the nuances. You know, can these units down here get replacement points from the British if we take the channel ports? Like, you know, what are some of these edge cases? But if we see the collapse here of these guys, I mean, you know, the channel ports, that's really going to be it. We've defeated enough Americans that the British are not going to get their bonus for Americans on the board. If the Allies manage to take out Big Bertha or cause it to move, then, you know, that's an extra morale point that might keep them from reaching 0 morale, but it's going to be a real near-run thing. So, okay, guys, thanks for watching this one. Turns 3 and 4 of Storm in the West. We'll look back at this game here in the next video, turns 5 and 6. So, take care, guys. Keep gaming.